Wait, I said don't start the show yet.
Dude, it's timed. It's timed. You can turn off your camera and do your settings. I'll start the talking. You can do your settings. Okay, so while he does his settings because he's having VPN problems, so we're pretty much going to review some stuff today because I know social media has been providing a lot of information, and this is the stuff that I've been exposing on Twitter. There's a difference between local Israel and Israel history from the days of the canons, and Greater Israel is a complete separate project because it requires going away from the lands of the canons. And this is what me and him were talking about. And he told me when I asked him like a couple of times that, hey, what's the deal with the Greater Israel project? Like everybody seems to be talking about it and want to go for it. And some are like terrified, like the world's just divided what it is. So today I bring him and he's gonna pretty much open up the stuff, what it is supposed to be like and how social media is well presenting it because he studies a lot of this stuff and he has a goal to pretty much join the future in the politician, so he knows this stuff. So I'd like to get him started. Are you ready yet? Unmute yourself.
Yes, I am.
All right, go ahead. So what is this Greater Israel that the world is like so terrified about and they don't want,
It's a mixture of extremist elements, fantasy, and also a anti-Semitic excuse to explain like the quote unquote mad desire of Israel to conquer the entire Middle East, which is not very both not realistic and very also not attainable and not desirable, but by many Israelis.
But like a lot of the people are publishing it. Like, what is this narrative anyway? Like, how far does it go that people still in this generation still talk about it? Like, what exactly is it that it's so effective even today?
Well, I suppose it gained more momentum when the more radical elements in Israel have managed to gain a seat in the Israeli government, referring mostly to Smotrich and Smotrich and Ben Gvir. I mean, Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben Gvir, who have entered the government, who both are holding a very extremist positions, even compared to those who settle in Judea and Samaria.
Many Jews I have asked that question as the smartest Jew, and they pretty much told me one answer like, your mother has said the same answer too. That's not part of Judaism. Whatever's just linked to the Torah, whatever lands is the only lands that are linked to the Jewish people. But whenever I ask a Jew this question, like, what is Greater Israel? Like, what do we do? They're like, that. And then they tell me, like, the leftists, which I agree that they want to humiliate Israel, but I asked as a personal preference, like, is this true in your script? She's like, no, this is not part of the Jewish script. Whatever's linked to the length of the canon is the only land that belongs to the Jewish people. That would be local Israel, what you were referring to.
We were granted the the land of Canaan, not the geographical area of the entirety of the Middle East and the Crescent.
I think people
I
don't understand that, buddy.
I think they don't care about that. I mean, only recently people were trying to boycott and get off the theaters a movie about King David. I mean, people are used for years to say, "Oh, we're not anti-Semitic. We don't hate the Jews. We just have problem with Israelis." Well,
So, like, what is this project? Can you give us like a preview
it's
demonstration?
not a project. First of all, it's not a project. It's a fantasy by number one by some radical extremist elements in Israel who are still the minority, even though they have much bigger apparent presentation in the government for political reasons. But nobody wants to like to settle in the other side of the Jordan River. Also, I don't think anybody wants to return to the Sinai Peninsula. Uh, Nobody wants to control these places. Yeah, there
Okay,
is.
so
Hmm?
I just want to retaliate. Like, so, like, the greater Israel is about land expansion, right? According to some politicians, if you can just get a little bit into details explaining on people what it really is and why do they like say they're going to do it but not do it if people find out.
Again, I have to just remind you this is not an actual policy. Don't address it as a policy because it is not. As I mentioned again and again, we need to refer to it as as an unofficial ambition of certain groups, which is not even going to be attainable politically by anyone if it were official, which is again, it is not.
No, I believe you, and I do, but you see, like I guess some politicians did not say those things. I
Of
don't want
course
to.
not.
Yeah,
They will never say
it
that
just
because
seems
they
so
don't want
cheesy.
because they don't want to give up the hopes that maybe one day they will have the whole of Israel, which is another topic which can refer later. The greater Israel might have been in one point in beliefs that it might be possible when the Arabs were weaker, but never to the extent that people are claiming now. Like from maps I'm seeing, the Greater Israel either includes parts of parts of Jordan, Syria, and the Sinai Peninsula, while some are even going as far as incorporating the entire Arab Peninsula, half half of northern Africa, and
Well,
getting all the way also to parts of Iran and Turkey. Like, tell me, how is it even realistically uh, feasible for anyone to even think about it?
well,
Like,
that's what I
it's like
debated,
somebody
and
like,
people
hey,
didn't believe me. Like,
just wait. It would be much more easier to take one of the many maps of the ancient Muslim caliphates and say, "This is what the Jews want to do." Is this sounds feasible or sane to you?
well, it doesn't even match what your stuff say in your Torah. That's some of the stuff that I debated on, and a lot of Israelis like, well, who don't
It's not
see this
because it's
thing.
not part of the Torah. Our the point of the Promised Land is was the land of Canaan, which was
That's exactly what I said, and people got mad.
referred to as the land of milk and honey in the Bible, which again I have to mention it's not including the entirety of the Middle East. Also, as Golda Meir once joked, God gave us the one place in the entirety of the Middle East that didn't have had oil.
Right. You see, I think people don't know the full story of the Jewish history. I've said that many times. They just don't. They're just like jumping around into corners, right? And I said this before.
Ask God
Anything related to
to
the
add
land of the Canaan.
some funny stuff to it. Just ask uh, people who work in exporting goods to Israel, like say from Shane or whatever similar company like that, how big Israel is. They will tell you they think we are billions of people because people in Israel are ordering stuff in the thousands more than there are actually people here.
What's interesting, okay, so like this is how people see it on because I know I showed you two videos and I know your side has it blocked. I don't know if I should bring it up or not, but I just know that I think based on what some politicians are publishing, it kind of has like an impact on a lot of people because this is what I bought up, even though I'm a Muslim, I bought it up, but I didn't post any false information because anything I publish, I verify with anybody Jewish first. So I published anything related to the land of Canaan. That's the only territory that belongs to Jews. Anything outside of the land of the Canaan, that's not related to Jews. And I got, well, stumped for it that no, that's also And I'm just like, I don't know how to explain it because, in simple terms, you know, as Jewish, that Isaac was the one who was sacrificed on the land of Canaan. And then they all like adopted Judaism, they became Jews. And I don't see how people don't understand that. Anything away from the land of Canaan doesn't belong to, well, Israel, correct?
Also, I don't think we want it. And by the way, I see somebody is posting here. Uh, I'm in Kumar. Hi there. And I don't know which type of expansionism you think. Uh, I think that people don't really want, like, when people say expansionism, it mostly regards to Judea and Samaria and Gaza. But that expansionism is mostly for those who want to forgive me for the term of phrase, to smother the idea of a Palestinian state in its crib.
Like, okay, you got another question. Are you okay? Are you okay? Aman Kumar. Like, they're asking you regarding Palestinians. So, like, how do you want to put this into the question? I think the question is, how are you going to, like, you will need the land, but you also like there's Palestinians there. How do you want to put that into words for the people? Because I'm telling you, people are so confused.
The question regarding the 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 Palestinians is a still somewhat contested issue here in Israel, which I'm not going to enter right now because after in the aftermath of October 7th, it's very, very, very difficult to anyone to discuss about this. But I'm answering regarding the question you asked me about the of Greater Israel. And if I just ask, I wanted to know what he meant by asking me if I'm okay. I
So
am okay. Thank you for the.
yes, I think he means like if you want to go into a little bit of details and explain it to them, what exactly like is this? And I guess politicians the way they're announcing it, because you and I both know that Tucker Carlson and Mike Huckabee did like a talk that's all over social media, and that kind of debate into kind of like a political religious debate all over the world. Like, oh, Israel's
Yeah,
doing a
yeah, I
eulogy,
know. Tucker Carlson essentially bringing back the idea of Nazi genetics to check if the Jews are Jews or something like that. Like, I don't know. By the way, do you want me to hold on like a profile to see if the nose is Jewish enough? Is it
Mhm.
enough that they're a Jew? Like, but putting aside the jokes, I think
Like,
that we also need to
yeah,
realize
go
that
ahead, explain to me what it is
Tucker Carlson should not
exactly.
be taken at. I wouldn't say at face value. I would say he shouldn't be taken out he should be taken in any value. He's already been paid enough by Qatar. Like, why should I listen to anything he says? I know
Well,
if I wanted
it's,
to hear this kind of the garbage he's spewing, it would have been much easier for me to just open the TV on. Fuck, I forgot the name of the Qatari channel. Can you remind me how it's called? I forgot. Al
yes.
Jazeera.
Okay.
I would have
Okay.
opened Al Jazeera, or at least I could, but now since Al Jazeera is closed in Israel, then I guess I can't do that anymore.
I would put it up, but I don't know how you react. Like that statement that him and Mike Huckabee did together, and that's why I invited you. So, like, what is the concept financially? What are you going to gain? Are you going to gain anything? Because some Israelis seem to be happy, especially outside. Maybe not inside, but outside Israelis, like, oh, we should do it. It's our land. So, like in your terms, how you told me educational wise that it does require safety and it's a lot of financial loss if you process. So, like, how do you want to put that into words? Like, if they were to do it, do you think it's a lot of risk and
Wait,
safety?
when we are talking about this, again, we need to first of all make it clear what territory is being discussed here of incorporating by Israel. Are we talking about the Israeli idea of Israel Shlema, which means whole Israel, or are we talking about the insane idea Greater Israel, which would
Greater Israel, Greater
great.
Israel. The
Correct.
whole thing where the
I
people
would
live.
suggest to you now again, ignore the idea of Greater Israel. Greater Israel, it's either a pipe dream or an accusation by our enemies to claim that, oh no, the Jews are coming. No, what most Israelis or some Israelis rather want, is discussion about controlling Israel proper from from the river to the idea from the river to the sea, that it will only be Israel. That's the idea, the much more in tune with Israeli policymakers of creating Israel, greater Israel.
Okay, so I have a question. I wonder if I should like bring this to the attention. So like, where is it? Okay, yeah. I want to share a post, and I think, sorry I'm late. Hey, somebody showed up. Welcome to the show. So I'm
Well,
just going to share my screen for a second. And like, so basically, all I'm going to say is that what are politicians going to gain? Like, I'm just going to share my screen for a minute. This is basically what it is. But don't you think it's a lot of like, financial loss if they do it? Like, if they do take a chance, let me just share my screen for just 1 second. Just a second. This is basically the map, and some people are buying it because I debated many Jews on this, and they ended up blocking me. Think I don't know what I'm talking about, but many Jews have educated me Jewish history. That look, anything related to the lands of the Canaan, that's the only territory that belongs to Israel. Anything that is not related to the lands of Canaan, that is not Israel. And I think people do not really understand that. Right here, see, look,
oh, that that
yeah.
if you notice who is the man posting it, I would encourage
Ignore
you
that.
to
I just
realize
want to know
it,
the
it
concept of
tells a
it.
story in it of itself.
I
This
just
is
want to know the concept of it.
this is not a real, really greater Israel-ish kind of idea. As I said earlier, there are two type of greater Israel. The one who would the more outlandish idea of greater Israel that is held by some elements of Israel of extremist Israelis is to control the entirety of Israel while also holding the Sinai Peninsula, parts of Jordan, and some parts of Syria, and maybe including Lebanon, which is the most extremist you will ever get from Israelis. This map is essentially could be considered an excuse for Iran to project itself as a defender of the Muslim and Arab world.
I see. Because I know like some people published it and it still did not make any sense to me that what are people going to gain out of it, and then I am just like, you know
Please
what?
also run about the. I see there have been two questions, and I want to answer each and every one of them one by
Yes,
one.
go ahead.
First of all, uh,
I'll post it on the stream. This is the first question.
can you please read it to me?
Okay, I have a question. Have you seen in first-hand perspective how much quality life was it effective on both the sides, like Israel and Palestine? Could you enumerate them? That's what he's asking. He's asking regarding both.
It means like how it will affect both.
Yes.
That is the very heart of the debate here in Israel regarding whole Israel in regard to what will happen with the Palestinians.
And you
Because
have another question. I'll put it up.
wait. First, I want to answer the first one, then I will answer this one.
Sure.
Essentially, the debate is Israel what to do with the Palestinians because a lot of people want the land. Nobody knows what to do with the Palestinians because some would simply say transfer legally and realistically. It's impossible to just move one population with nowhere to receive them. It's not like we can give them the boot and expect them to just go to say the Palestinians in Judea and Samaria to simply move to Jordan. The Jordanians will probably either will not open the gate or even shoot them down before they will allow them to enter Jordan. So again, it will put the problem on Israel. And again, another problem is that nobody wants to incorporate the land as long as the Palestinians are there because the other the side of the coin is it will essentially will have to incorporate the Palestinians as being fully Israeli citizens, which could flip the political and geographic and demographical elements of Israel, and nobody wants Israel to turn into another Arab state.
Okay, so I want to ask you something because you can
Wait,
answer the second
before,
question.
all right, ask, and then I want to answer the second question.
I brought him up. This is his question
Can you,
regarding
can you,
Palestinians.
can you read it to me?
Yes, the more Israel will gain land, the more they will free those Middle East lands from terrorism and Islamic Nazism, implement and secure democracy for all. That. How do you feel about that? How do you have to put that into translation?
That I can see why somebody would think that, and as much as I sympathize, emphasize, and also kind of agree with this individual, Israel is not supposed to be the po- the the police officer of the Middle East. We shouldn't need to be the leaders of the region, especially to consider the part that many of the people in the region don't even want us to exist. Feeling like that we would be accepted as the leaders, leadership position in the Middle East, it's some unfortunately not very realistic. Even though I kind of understand the appeal that if we control the entirety of the Middle East, then there will be peace, prosperity, and democracy in the Middle East. I can see the the appeal of the argument, which is a completely hypothetical as theoretical ideas are held. It's very amusing.
Okay, so I have a question. Out of your politicians, as of your experience, you watch every single statement of Israel and the politicians. And in your perspective, who's more of a trustworthy politician to trust as an outsider? So that way things don't seem messy, like how I have to ask you all the time and what's verified or not. Who do you think is a more reasonable politician from your political party?
For someone from outside of Israel,
Yeah, because I know there's a lot around. So, like, if we wanted to verify something, and based on what some politicians are publishing, in your perspective, who's a
I
reasonable
plead
politician?
I plead the fifth.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
After almost 20 years of Netanyahu's leadership, the ineptitude of the opposition parties, and the complete and utter incompetence of the coalition and the government of Israel, I full-heartedly can say that you shouldn't trust any of our politicians because they're all complete and utter failures and incompetence. However, I'm afraid I'm a bit that my statement is probably jaded due to the aftermath of October 7th and 2 years of the war, including the 12 war with Iran and apparently another round that's about to happen with Iran.
Okay,
Oh,
so in your perspective, this is going to be a twister. Since you know your politicians, it's your house. You can say what you want. I'm a nobody to say anything to that. Do you think, like, as an Israeli, because I know some people want it, some people don't want it, but you always look at Israel first, like how some people look at America first. Do you think your politicians should step in or no, based on where you're going right now? October 7th is not fully recovered yet. Do you think they should get into any more conflicts than what they already have to deal with, like finish up?
what do you mean? Do you mean like how Israelis are feeling in the aftermath of?
Yeah, right now, Iran's coming, and some people want it, but some normal Israelis like you and some others don't want it because they feel you need
Many
to.
people in Israel. The thing is, many people in Israel are feeling very tired after everything. The moment that all of the hostages returned, after the first time we have zero hostages in Gaza, people want to are feeling kind of relieved, but I guess everybody just tired. It's like after between COVID and wars and everything, it's kind of like tiredness. I don't know if I can just speak for myself, but I can imagine that many Israelis are feeling too tired to and desensitized after everything
You
that
have
happened.
another question regarding Netanyahu. I'll put it
Please
up.
put it up and read it to us.
Okay. I have a question. I know it's a bit controversial, but I need to ask. My Israeli friends told me is that Netanyahu is a very corrupt politician leader and a youth of Israel and is not happy with him. What are your thoughts regarding that, regarding your leaders as living there all your life, never moved?
Although I think I already expressed it, my feeling is he's old, he is corrupt. I almost feel like if he will continue to stay in office for a few more years, he will end up becoming a Joe Biden, and we cannot afford ourselves a dead brain politician. Although to be said, Bibi is a great politician. He managed to stay in office for so long. He should be commended for that. And he was right in matters of Iran, but his inaction is his greatest failure. He's talked too much and acted too little. Too little. We need somebody in Israel that will be like Donald Trump. Less talk, more action. And unfortunately, Bibi is not that. He is old talk, and I do not believe, and I do not know whether he is corrupt or not. When I said he's corrupt earlier, I expressed my personal opinion. I only believe that he's currently technically on trial for stuff, and I don't know if he is guilty or not. But I think he shouldn't have been part of being a prime minister while he's going under this. So
You have
this is
another one right here. So it says like I strongly disagree. I heard a lot about the politicians and clarify like regarding Netanyahu. So I want to show you something, and there's
wait. I don't understand. Nobody has the clarity. I said he's a great politician. He is a great parliamentarian. He has good qualities. I didn't dismiss those. I just said that it's not healthy for anyone to be in office for 20 years with no breaks. Nobody
okay.
should be a leader for 20 years, especially in a democratic country. All right, what
Okay,
this?
I want to show you something, and I want you to like educate
Wait,
our.
there is somebody here. I want to answer them, and then you will show me how
Okay,
how you see this. His contribution to the state of Israel, is it worth or not for the nation of people of Israel? Again, I don't say that Prime Minister Netanyahu haven't done anything for Israel or for its people. I
how
am
about you explain both the good fall and the downfall? That will make it easier for people to understand.
I would say it with a simple phrase that goes like this: either die young as a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Which is why I constantly saying Bibi should retire respectfully with full honors and recuse himself respectfully. I don't want him removed by force. I don't want him going to jail. I want him respectfully to retire. He earned this right, and beside, again, 20 years in office being prime minister. I think he has done more than enough. And saying this with respect to him. Now in right now I have bigger problem with his political allies, but again I can't exactly just fault Bibi himself because the other side of the aisle have also backed him into a corner, which again is what I mean when I say all 120 Knesset members should be removed. We need new blood in the Knesset and the government.
You know what's interesting before I share my screen regarding something that Jerusalem Post about wrote about Bibi, and I think you're on the screen. I'll share it in a minute. Like I heard some of his statements. Like I seen you mad all the time. Like okay, your policy is he shouldn't be getting into too involved into outside stuff. He should be involved into local Israel stuff. Correct?
You mean like the
Local Israel
Bibi?
stuff. Yeah.
You I think everybody would prefer that their leader will be concentrating more on domestic issues than abroad issues. Unfortunately for Israel, We can't afford to just in Israel. We have a problem. We are focusing too much on domestic, while completely neglecting the foreign. I mean, look how many people want to murder Jews today. We cannot ignore this. We need to be smart and incorporate a much more proactive foreign policy that complements also our security interests.
You got a question before I share the post. So here's your next question. So like, how are
I think
you?
I answered it. I answered him already.
Okay, so he's good. So okay, so now I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you what Jerusalem Post published regarding Bibi, and I want to hear your thoughts. Like, how do you feel about this? Like, I didn't publish that anywhere because I feel I'm going to look like a Jew hater if I post it. So now that you're here, you can translate the post and just tell me what is this. So let me bring it up.
All right.
Okay,
Wait a
let
minute,
me.
I'm trying to see it. Oh,
Okay, here it is. What do you think of this?
Indian Prime Minister Netanyahu position portrays him as a threat to democracy, stoking public anxiety over Israel's future. Well, I always believed that the truth is somewhat in the middle. I don't believe Bibi wants to turn Israel into a theocracy or a dictatorship or whatever. I know his political allies do, but it's more condemnation of them than him specifically. The problem with Bibi is that he has become too weak to control his political allies. In the end, he is being politically blackmailed by his allies constantly, and he's forced to do stuff that by his own supporters is not exactly favorable, like the issue of conscription in Israel.
But like, okay, let me ask you this, because this is I don't know how to answer this question because I don't live there with the politics, and I know people ask me this all the time. So like, in your opinion, because I know he wants to help, but at the same time, then Israelis do get mad at him. So like, for example, like how he in one direction people make him look bad. No joke, they really do make him look bad. Like, oh, Bibi's trying to do the Greater Israel Project because of his leaders or whatever. And then another direction, when he tries to focus on local Israel, stuff like that never gets published about him. Why? Like how he wants to help Israel. How do you want to put that? Media statements versus reality. How you live.
The thing about Bibi, in the end of the day, he doesn't want to do anything. He's a status quo kind of person. He wants to maintain a stagnant status quo. If you want, I personally would describe his greatest failure in Israel as being the prime minister of stagnation, because he didn't do much innovation or vision of a new advancement in stuff. Like, the truth has to be said, in regard to the Abraham Accords, when Bibi here in Israel constantly speak like it's his achievement, no, it's mostly President Donald Trump's achievement, which Bibi was tagging along for. You
Okay,
understand what I'm trying to say?
so
So,
wait, okay, I'm
but
trying to. Okay, so
the
like,
only thing that Bibi is actively doing is to try to ensure that there will never be a Palestinian state. And to the credit of the Palestinians, they're doing a very good job to ensure that they will never have a Palestinian state, no matter how much right now everybody is going on board on the whole board of peace and reconstruction of Gaza and trying to make the Gazans and the Palestinians into upstanding members of the global community. Again, I know exactly how it would fail. I would like if they would surprise me, but Hi there. I would be surprised if it's the moment the whole world will turn its head to concentrate on something else, they will not start slaughtering one another. Again.
I honestly think, I mean, okay, so let me ask you a trivia question because One Direction, there's like this greater Israel narrative and how your country has this blocked from your end. I can see it from my end, but you can't see it on your end. And then another direction, um, we have Iran at the side. So, like, how does this narrative attract with that narrative? Like, can you set this apart? Because people are like saying their own statements, like, "Oh, Greater Israel wants to destroy Iran and all the countries." You know what I'm talking about because there's content creators talking about this shit and making you feel
To
like
the
Israel.
record, right now, I will say to the record, Israel does not want to destroy Iran. We want to be at peace with our Iranian brothers and sisters. It is the Islamic regime that needs to go because they are a threat not to just to the world, obviously, and not even just to us, but to the Iranian people themselves. Look at how many people they've just killed uh, last month. 30,000. It's a Can you even grasp the idea? Like some as after some the horrors of October 7th and the 2 years of war, the number of Israeli dead is combining everything is somewhat between almost kissing the almost reaching the 2000, which
So let me
within
ask you this:
wait, let me
if
just
you were to
explain.
go,
Wait,
go
wait, let
ahead,
me
then I'll
finish.
ask you a question.
All right, I understand it, but just let me explain something. The concept, the visualization of it. For an Israelis, 2,000 people dying, either soldiers during the war or the 1,200 people who died on October 7th. This number is inconceivable. So take that and enlarge it to 30,000 throughout Iran, and it's insanity. And now by the way, that the Iranians are now are back once again restarting their protests. The regime is killing them at the cemeteries. All right, I just have to give it a some attention because I don't want the Iranian people to just be massacred without
Like,
nobody
I
knowing about it.
know you know this. I know this. That content creators are stating that the Greater Israel, you want to kill Iran, you want to kill this nation, that nation, yada yada yada, and you want to.
Show me
What?
the people who will build. Show me the people that think that we want to take control from the sea to Iran. Show me these people. Can
Tucker
assure you,
Carlson, I'll
they're
name one.
full of
You know
it.
what he states. I'll name the famous guy, whoever Israeli hates. Carlson, Tucker Carlson. Why does he?
Again, he again has the Mark Mark Levin, I think his name. Yeah, Mark Levin stated he's Tucker Carlson should be renamed to Tucker Carlson. The man is receiving.
The
He's being
problem is people don't
He's
know
being
the
paid
reality of
by
Israeli
Qatar. You
politics.
know what? You know what? When I'm saying getting paid by Qatar, I have to admit I'm doing a disservice to describing it. Tucker Carlson is not being paid by Qatar. He's being shitted upon by. Receiving dollars like rain, like a golden shower. Exactly. He's also, by the way, I've just been notified by some other sources that he's right now building a home in Qatar. I wonder why. Maybe so he can have a closer, intimate relationship with the king of Qatar. Who knows?
Like seriously, like when I look at these statements and then like what the media publishes, that's why I want to ask you. It's like half of this stuff is even correct because you know the parliament. Then you, One Direction, you have also told me that that's a lot of money that the politicians cannot afford it. Well, Israelis can. I'm not sure about the politicians.
Again, as I stated before, the idea of the greater Israel that people think about is much more smaller than you would think. All right? This is the important bit that you need to remember.
No, I understand, but a lot of the, like, for example, the Jews didn't agree with me. They think either I'm a Jew hater, or I don't know what I'm talking about. But I said this many times that anything that's related to the land of Canaan, that belongs to Israel. Anything outside of the land of Canaan, that doesn't belong to Jews. And I don't see how Jews did not understand me there. What incorrect thing did I say?
I guess it's a way of how you're saying it. I I guess when you're saying doesn't belong, it makes like you're saying that the Jews don't belong to the region.
No,
It's
they belong to the lands of
it's
Canaan.
easy
Anything related
again.
to the land
No,
of Canaan.
again. I'm trying to explain. You need to remember that that the reason why Israelis are very sensitive to the whole the word doesn't belong is because for many Israelis, including myself, the fight is not just for our survival or our existence, but also for the recognition that we are also natives to the region as well.
No, I can understand that.
No,
It's
I
just
know that you understand. I'm just trying to explain to some people that are trying to claim that we are white colonial settlers. By the way, can I ask somebody, do I look white to you? I mean, I know to someone
your
the
best
answer would
friend
probably be
here.
yes.
He's watching. XR, the American Jew. He comes on all our shows. Mike's on here. Ask him, hey, Mike, question for you. I know you're in there. Does he look white? And nobody's more whiter than you. Call me completely crazy on this. Nobody's more whiter than Mike.
Holly, don't use real names, please.
XR. Nobody knows who he is. Hackstar, come on in. Like, yeah. What do you think? Do you think he's white? What color is he? You can ask him that. I'm not gonna ask. He has a question.
No, he's. I think he's responding to some of the earlier questions.
Yeah, no, it's good to read that. But I think, I mean, okay,
By the
so
way, he just answered you. By the way, in regard, and he answered me. By the way, if you can show his response.
he's okay. So the most Jews he wrote up here is that no, most of the Jews in Israel are from the Middle East.
In fact, there, if you bring someone from Europe into Israel, he would probably jokingly will say that all he sees are a bunch of Arabs.
I think a lot of the people do not know the full story of the land of Canaan, which I'm going to publish articles. I started to. I think they don't know the territories all of Canaan. So when you educate, like when people look at Greater Israel, they think, oh no, they're going to take over the entire land. If I guess if Mike Huckabee interpreted a little bit better what the land of Canaan is, this little disagreement wouldn't start. But I think not a lot of the people.
I can't fault Mike Huckabee because in the end of the day, it's not his responsibility to account for the idiocy of people online. Again, in the end of the day, his role is to represent the interests of the United States in Israel. That's it. Educating the masses in the internet is each country's individual responsibility, or better yet, the individual's responsibility to educate themselves, because you can't do anything with stupid people.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. In fact, I'm gonna look it up and see if I can find it and share the screen. Because you see, I bought this up many times. That hey, yeah,
Oh, you're so right, XR. He's referring to it's mostly to the Ethiopian community that yeah, totally agree with you. Unfortunately, I believe that even if you put an Ethiopian Israeli Jew in front of a leftist, green or headed Wokistani, they would still say they are white.
okay, so I'm gonna share something and maybe you can translate because this is what I bought up, but I think people are slightly confused. So here, I'm gonna share my screen and you are gonna be the educator and translate all this. So let me do it. Share
By
my
the way,
screen.
Ollie, why don't you ask our if someone wants to also join us a little bit after you? I will translate what you wish me to translate. Then when we talk.
Sure. Like, We can ask Haxar to come in the circle if he wants. Do anybody else want to come next to Dorian and ask a public question? I'll send you the
The
link.
name is the sage, but yes. Wait, oh right, now I'm seeing. What do you need to translate? It translated already. No, is it
This, okay. This is the land. This is the stuff I bought up, but I think a lot of the people don't know this.
the land of Canaan is historically significant as is associated with the Promised Land. The Bible is located in the Levant region, which includes part of Lebanon, Syria, Jordan. Ah, I see. Well, you need to remember that it's quite hard to really understand the scope of the region at the time because it was very convoluted, and the what people think of nowadays borders is essentially artificially made by European powers. So I guess it's easy to say, oh, the ancient land of Canaan included this and this and this and this, but in the end of the day, if you want a good representation of what the ancient Jewish kingdoms actually, what kind of territory they actually held, just bring up the maps of the ancient kingdoms of Israel and Judea. That will give you a good idea of what
Okay.
stuff looks like.
Ancient Kingdom of Judea
And Israel. Don't forget Judea.
and and Israel.
And
Okay.
add it a map that you want a map.
Map. Okay, map.
And now
Oh.
let's see how it looks like.
Now, which one do you want me to click so you can interpret and explain what only and only belongs to Israel away from Arabia?
Just
This
pick one.
this
Anyone
one?
can do. Yeah, sure. With a bit of exception and a bit of shaving off, Israel's territory most of the time is confined to Israel's modern borders. All right, we had some territory on both sides of uh, of the Jordan River and parts of where of Syria slash Lebanon is, but not the crazy maps that take Israel, showing Israel wanting to control from the sea
These are
to
territories
Iran.
completely. These are territories completely a little bit away from Arabia if you look at it.
I know because why would we want to get over there? It's mostly sand. Well, now sand and oil, but that is completely irrelevant. You get the point I'm saying?
No,
This is
I do,
the
but I
idea.
think people don't get
Wait. I just want to make it clear. When you're seeing these maps, it's a better representation of what actual idea of Greater Israel is essentially is. The desire to expand the current Israeli borders to reflect the ancient Israeli kingdoms. Because the idea of Greater Israel is rooted in biblical belief. Now, if you're asking me if I think it's realistic, the answer is no. I think we should remain in our current borders. Yes, I know there are better maps out there. I'm just trying to explain a point. I believe that we should retain ourselves at our current borders and try to protect them better before we start talking about expansions. And even then, the expansions are not that crazy as people think. All right, we can remove the
Yes.
map. Switch.
Okay, now I'm bringing our dear friend Haxar, and he's gonna do the party tonight with the leftover of the show. Let me bring him in, and yeah, he's gonna. So, like, I think a lot of the people don't know what it is. They really don't know what it is. I'm sorry, they just don't know what it is, and they feel like, oh, this is what
Well,
it is.
it's easy to hate what you don't know.
You're right about that. Yeah, I'm not going to say you're wrong. You're absolutely right about that. If they knew the difference between Arabia and local Israel, we wouldn't have this problem. But a lot of the people, they don't know. They don't know what's the difference between Arabia and local Israel. They think it's all one land and it should be like, I don't even know how to. describe it, but they think it's all one land. No, it's into particles, and people need to know what those particles are. I sent him a link. He's gonna come in. He wants to join the conversation. But yeah, if they knew these particles, there wouldn't be these disagreements. I don't think people know these stuff. I know I tried many times. I'm not gonna lie. I know I'm not Jewish, but I did study enough to know what belongs to local Israel and what are parts of Arabia. And people do not want to
We don't want these parts. It's not worth it. Trying to hold that is insane and more trouble than it's worth.
Well, look who it is. It's our dear buddy who's gonna do the last debate. It's our last buddy.
Well,
Hi, my friends. How you doing?
we're
Hi.
doing all things considered.
We were just reviewing, like he was explaining about Greater Israel, and I'm like, I think a lot of the people don't know the difference between local Israel and Arabia. They think it's all one land, and they don't know how it actually works. What
Well,
parts belong to Israel
I
and
think
what don't.
yeah. The most confusing thing people have is usually they focus on talking like if you listen to the general public, they're always focused on settlements. But settlements is such a small aspect of Israel, and that's where a lot of the confusion comes in. And then like all the attention is always on the settlements, but
They
the
even consider me a settler, which I technically live in
what
Israel proper. Yeah, you
you're
know
You
that I'm
know,
right.
there's no way that you could be considered a settler.
I'm considered a settler by the anti-Semites who think that the entirety of Israel is just settlements.
No, I think if you talk to any person with any type of intelligence whatsoever, they kind of know what the settlements
Sorry,
are. They mainly focus on Judea and Samaria and
since when,
the big political back and forth going on about
since
Judea and
when
Samaria.
leftists and anti-Semites are known to have intelligence?
Well, I'm excluding anyone that's that dumb that would say Israel is a settlement because that
What
doesn't make
about
any sense.
What about Tucker Carlson?
Well, you're talking about like so let's go interview Hamas and get their interpretation of what Israel is. I mean, come on, Tucker Carlson. The funny thing about like that that made me smile when you talked about Tucker Carlson is he he not only became totally corrupted when he first got fired. He got fired from Fox News, lost his big huge career with Fox News. Was like
ouch.
the number one. He was like the number one show on prime time for Fox, and they fired the hell out of him because he lied and got caught and got Fox sued for a hell of a lot of money, and they got rid of him. This is not the first time he got fired. He got fired originally. Was it MSNBC that fired him? He used to work for one of the leftist broadcasting networks. I forgot which one it was, but he got fired from there too. The thing
Just
is that
remember,
he totally changed. He like originally was very conservative in his broadcast. He did not have this anti-Semitic tinge,
do you
but the
remember he
moment
interviewed Putin?
why
I don't think that. Let me
that's
see if I can find that one. I'm
that's a
not sure if I
different
do.
that's a different subject. But yeah, I watched that. It was pretty hard to watch. He just basically sat there and let Putin say like this is what he does. He sits back when he is he's not intelligent enough to push back against anybody a lot of the times. A
I
lot of
don't.
these people.
I think he's insane.
Unless Huckabee comes on, then he pushed back against Huckabee quite a bit and didn't let him talk either. He lets all these anti-Semites go on and on and on and on in the show,
And,
and
I
with
and
no
honestly,
essentially
pushback,
describe.
with
Don't
no
forget.
pushback, no comments, no nothing. He just lets them spew all kinds of nonsense, never challenges them. But when Huckabee comes on, he didn't notice the interview the difference with him, and then he wouldn't let him talk. He and then he started bringing up all these crazy conspiracy theories, and
actually, I
Essentially
Huckabee.
think no.
describe.
This
Wait,
would have
guys.
happened.
Guys. Don't forget that Tucker Carlson also alleged that essentially Trump is like Bibi's pet with the leash and everything. Like
Well,
seriously, are we talking about
um,
is Tucker Carlson talking about
It's
a
nonsense.
the president of the United States, or is he talking on
I honestly
some
think
dog
none of
fetish
this
from
would have
Germany?
happened. I honestly think none of this would have happened if he just explained a little bit accurate, like I told you, because this is what started this political debate when Mike Huckabee stated that, oh, Israel can take all the land, and then he was talking about Genesis. If people just know the difference between what Greater Israel is, which is a just like how you said, I'm going to let you say the perfect word, versus local Israel territory. And local Israel territory is anything related to, well, the lands of early days of the canon. And you just got to match those places what they are. And people don't
Well,
really
there
like
is a simple solution. They should just pick up the damn Bible if they
Yeah,
want to understand.
but guys, even beyond that, most of the like, if you listen to what people are talking about, most of the argument about what you're talking about is only focusing on Judea and Samaria. Really, when it comes down to it, the arguments about
Greater
land and
Israel
all this and who gets what and what
great
all
is
this
Judea
are.
and Samaria, as I stated
Right.
earlier.
It's all Judea and Samaria. It's not anything else. I mean, unless you talk to some real crazy people. But what I'm trying to say is that really that it's just it's not, most of it is like irrelevant in my point of
Let
view.
me show
The
you which map are.
Israel has historical homelands, and those historical homelands need to be developed and protected, and that's my point of view on it. And I feel that
Hexar,
a lot
please
of it is a lot of the
see.
opinions on it are skewed to the
Hexar,
wrong
please
point of
see.
view.
I have forwarded you what type of Greater Israel our friend Holly here is referring to when people are thinking about Greater Israel.
Yeah, I asked that with many Jews. I'm
Did
serious.
What
you
I
see
asked
it?
that with so many
Did you
what
see
Jews.
it?
the
What are you
what the
Wait,
talking
wait,
heck
about?
is that?
The
wait,
leaders are.
wait,
I'm like, what
w-
do you want me to say?
wait.
That is crazy. What
Right?
is that? Who came up with that idea?
It's
That's
published. What am I supposed to tell you?
that
I don't.
is
Hold on, I figured it out. That's the Muslim Brotherhood's point of view, right? Is
exactly
that
what
what it
I'm
is?
trying to
Okay.
explain.
All right. I get it now, because that was like the only thing that made sense to me where that would come from, because
No,
no one
but
no
like
intelligent
Dexter,
person would make that type of argument.
Aksar, I don't believe in it because every time I tried to tell a Jew, like anybody different away from my friends, right? And I would like anything that's related to the land of Canaan, that's the only thing that would belong to like you guys, that by fact because it's labeled in the Bible. But anything away from the land of Canaan and linked to Arabia, because that's the father of Arabs, you got to be an Arab to really know that shit. So they would be like, no, that's linked to us too. So when I asked, like, other educated Jews just like you who know history, they said the same things that no, ancient Arabia has nothing to do with us because Arabia was never promised. The land of Canaan was, which is everything related to the Canaan is linked to the Jews. That's how Jews kind of like evolved. And I think people don't know a lot of that history, how important the land of Canaan is linked to
The
I,
because
problem I think with Canaan, I think that Israel that we are sitting at the heart of the military of the crescent, if you know what I mean. Is the fertile area in the Middle East. We are centered in the crescent, where most of the fertile land in the crescent is, which makes us a very big tempting target for conquest and occupation, and which why many pro-Palestinian and Islamist propagandists are trying to paint us as uh, warmongering, conquering barbarians in order to justify, say, October 7th, or what Iran is planning to attack us before or after whatever comes out of Geneva.
you see, a lot of the people they don't know these territories. If they, I guess, if they visited Israel and just took a historical trip and matched it on the map of the land of Canaan, then maybe they'll
Most
have.
people
no,
can't
they don't even need to do that. Just pick up the Bible. Come on, pick up the Old Testament and start reading.
You
Okay,
know what?
none of these are not this is not a little secret between Jews. This is, you pick up the
Hey,
Old
just
Testament,
pick up a
and then
damn
you
map
get it,
or
yeah, and
globe.
spin that globe door and focus on it, and then like it's about as accurate as you can get.
Oh,
And you can,
actually, no, I can't.
matter of
This one,
fact.
This specific wait,
they have ancient maps overlaid over
wait.
today's
This
world
specific
where
globe
you can
was
see where
made in
these
China,
places
which
are located.
wait, I think this specific globe was made in China because I don't see Israel. It just says
So like the
Palestine.
main goal, what the only thing that Israelis want and people don't understand, it's probably but just Judah and Samaria. That's it, so they can pray and stuff. But people are looking at another vision that no, you want to take over all of the Arabia and all the
Why
outside.
would we want? Here's the big question I want to hear.
I
Why would
never
we
heard these
want?
arguments.
I,
I
I
never heard these arguments
I
that
heard it a
Israel
few
wanted
times.
Arabia. I mean, it's the
Yeah,
most nonsensical
I
thing.
did hear the argument, but it was mostly argument for trying to do that. And I'm asking people, why
Wait,
the hell would we want?
who is for that?
By crazies who wants us to overthrow their government so we take control because some think it's better to be
That's
under
not
Israeli
normal.
control. I know it's
No.
insane, but also I'm referring to my original point. Why would we want to control unstable regions filled with Islamists, radical, and terrorists? I
Well,
mean, they
Sage,
already
hang on a
don't
minute.
like.
Sage, hang on a minute. I remember this discussion with some people when we were when the war in Gaza was going on, and they said we need to reoccupy Gaza like Israel had the Israeli outposts of our old ancient cities that were part of Israel that were, established for a long time there in Gaza. And my argument was this, and I remember I told the sage this when this argument was going on. Israel has the hardest time defending Israel by itself. And
That's
then
what he
you
said.
include Judea and Samaria in that and trying to help defend and protect Judea and Samaria. They have the hardest time defending these areas because it's strategically difficult. There's the north, the south, surrounded on every side, worried about what's coming in over water. There's so many things that make it hard to defend. The last thing Israel needed to do was create further outposts in Gaza, which would be very, very difficult. And even if you look at the way the outpost in Gaza was before the cities, I would call them the small cities that were there, Israeli cities that were there. They were not well defended. They were very hard to defend. A lot of people, there were people dying there. I mean, it was not a safe place to be, and most people were not rushing to go visit there. Um, and that's what I'm trying to say is like that. The strategic aspect of it didn't make a lot of sense to me. Israel should focus on Judea and Samaria.
So
We
in
should
simple
focus
terms,
on greater Israel and Judea and Samaria. The things that historically is the Jewish homeland. I understand that there are other parts of Gaza that in ancient times were uh, you know Jewish cities. That's a fact, but it doesn't mean that it would be safe for Israel to have cities there today. I mean, it's not. We can't go back in time and change history. I mean, it doesn't. The strategic aspect of that didn't make a lot of sense to me then and now. And I think that we don't really have to worry about too much over there anymore with the border peace and what's going on with securing Gaza. I have a feeling that's going to be successful in the end. It's going to take a very long time, but I didn't agree with those people that say we should resettle Gaza. I mean, it didn't make any sense from a strategic standpoint. It was not successful before, and I don't think it would be successful if we tried that
well,
again.
I missed what Dorian said that what you call it, it can be dangerous to settle over there because in the end there are still like Islamist military organizations there and plus other political leaders there still. And he said it would be dangerous. Why would you want to go over there? I remember when I bought up Judah Samaria, you guys are like, you got to go there because you guys are not allowed to go there when I bought
Yeah,
it.
when people are saying
Oh, I
there is
didn't want to go.
wait,
I
wait,
didn't.
I want to answer that.
I was by myself when I went to Israel. I went alone. I didn't go with a group of people. So I there was no way I was going to go to Judea and Samaria on my own.
You know what?
If you go on a tour, it's pretty safe. They will the IDF will protect you. The police will protect you. But if you don't go there on your own, most people wouldn't do that.
Holly, you need to understand something. When people are saying there is a restrictions in Israel similar to apartheid, they're half correct. It's not limiting the Arabs. It's the Jews who are being limited where they can go. There are parts in Israel and parts of Judea and Samaria I am legally not allowed to enter. Ignore the fact that if I enter these areas, I would probably either be kidnapped or killed, but still, I'm not legally allowed to enter them.
I
The other thing that I'll tell you, the one thing that I remember when I was in Israel, that I was the one thing I wasn't disappointed on any of my trip, but the one thing that I wish I could have done was go to the Temple Mount. I was prevented from going to the Temple Mount. It was They would not allow me to go anywhere near it,
Nowadays,
and
it's
I
kind of
tried back
relaxed.
then. This was many years ago, so things that should change now. But I wanted to go visit it, and I couldn't. I couldn't do it. I was going to go pray on the Temple Mount, but they wouldn't let me. So what am I going to do?
I
Forgive
think
me
that
for
people don't
saying some
know. They
radical
really
things
do.
because I'm allowed my moments of radicalization a bit. I'm joking, but I don't see any reason why a why the current mufti should remain in office. Like, if you want to have a position of the mufti of Jerusalem, I don't think this position should be controlled either by the Palestinian Authority or by the Jordanians alone. Whoever is should be the mufti of Jerusalem should be someone jointly appointed by Israel and Jordan.
I think the problem
I
is
agree with that.
I
I
mean,
think the
why
problem is
shouldn't
when
Israel be part of the proceeding, considering the fact that we are the ones providing security to this son of a bitch?
I'll tell you why
if,
things are the way it is today,
um,
because it goes right back to what your complaint was, Sage, about BB being a stagnant person. He likes to keep the status quo, scared to do anything. And I understand why he did it in this aspect, to not change that, because he doesn't want the Muslims rioting and causing disruption and possibly damage to the area there. And it would prevent having some never-ending violence going on over there, would prevent people from going to the Western Wall. uh, Safety concerns about the area. But I agree that if we can make a change, I'm not saying that, hey, it should be dominated by Israel, even though I honestly feel that it it should be. I do agree with you that it should be, there should be some joint effort going on to say both, Jordan and Israel would together appoint like a neutral person that would, be able to, do what's fair for everybody involved. I don't even know if that's possible. Do you?
no, but like I honestly think people just don't know like when people talk, they don't know what exactly how you guys say it, that we do not want that, but people make it look like you do. If you just take the map, and that's exactly what me and Sheena talk about. Like she said exactly what you guys said. She's like, Arabia has nothing to do with Jews. Why on earth would we want anything related to Arabia? That's not linked to us. Period. I'm like, well, people see it like that. I'm like, I don't know. I know I've spoken to a couple of Jews before, and I'm like, what does that really have to do with you? Anything related to the Canaan territory, like Judah, Samaria, that's in your book, like anything related to the Bible, like Judah, Samaria, that would be linked to you. And I think it's how people educate. I honestly think it's how people educate. If you just say, hey, whatever's linked to Israel's territory, local, and linked to the land of the Canaan of the early day, that's the only thing we want. We don't want anything like that. Sometimes people publish certain things, and I asked that with Dorian, like I asked them in a funny way, which politician should we trust, the outsiders? If I were to give an education lesson, which politician should I trust? And then he gave me like a whole history lesson, that which those ones are not the good politicians. That helps people to understand, like, okay, there's some misinterpretation here, and there's a lot of misinterpretation on social media, like no
The thing
joke.
is, Israelis are like every normal people from every part of the globe. We share a common thing with people around the world. We hate our politicians, just like they are hating theirs.
You know what? I think we've even talked about that recently, and there's they're talking about how Americans can't get along because we got the left wing, we got the right wing, they're all fighting each other and arguing and yelling back and forth and all this. It's really not much different in Israel, except it's not, the lines are a little different, in Israel. But other than that, I mean, everybody's arguing about this different things. The subjects may be a little
Uh,
different, but I
well,
mean, they're all
look,
like sometimes that stuff is good, sometimes it's bad. The violent stuff that the problem that I think we have in America is that too many people are using violent rhetoric to describe things that should have nothing to do with it, and there are crazy people that see that and believe what's being told.
here
They're
in
not.
Israel, the problem is that essentially people on the core issues, they on both sides, they agreeing. The only thing that people are disagreeing about is semantics, whether we should control this stretch of land or this stretch of land. But on the core issues, many Jews actually agree about. It's just semantics that we disagree about. We disagree about it very passionately, that almost makes someone outside of Israel think like we're hating each other, like Americans are fighting one another. Well, respectfully, Hexar, your disagreement is between people, between keeping men from women's bathroom, and
Sports.
Democrats wanting to cut
Sports.
off
Don't forget
uh,
about sports.
against sport, and Democrats wanting to chop men's uh,
Units
sexual
off.
organs. Sorry, but you know I'm right.
Oh, it's
Okay, look, I'm with Hexar on that one. I can disagree with him. We both live in the same house when it comes to America. We can disagree with each other. It's our house. But we have nothing to say about your house. Your house is from childhood, since the day you were born, grew up,
Yeah,
went to school.
but your house, but depending on your president, your house can literally screw my house.
yeah. There is an impact on what happens here. That what a lot of people don't realize is what happens here affects Israel. And you couldn't find that more than what happened during the October 7th attack. It
I
was
mean, yeah.
it was an awful thing, and it was way worse in the fact that Israel did not have support from the United States, and it was a shame. And
And heavens forbid, if
America's
again, I
always
know
such
I
a
said it in the past,
bad
but
something
again,
we need to get used to
so
now.
imagine the horror, the nightmare scenario. If somehow the Democrats would manage to cheat so hard the last election that Kamala Harris would became president of the United States, I am certain she would have tried to order uh, a B-2 airstrike on Israel. I
and
don't.
let me be a little honest and let me be honest on what I said. Not a little honest. Let me be completely honest on what I said.
Oh,
When I'm
sure.
talking about the United States not supporting Israel, it was mainly when with the fact of Israel having to defend itself in Gaza. That is really what I'm referring to. We did defend Israel during the attacks from Iran, and we did defend Israel many times before that. But the I feel that it was a shame, like the support that we were not fully on Israel, supporting Israel when Israel was defending itself in Gaza, and I feel that that's really what I was referring to
I
specifically.
agreed. By the way, despite the fact that I'm making a lot of jokes, I completely agree with
So, like,
Hexar's position. The thing is that many Israelis also feel that we are sacrificing a lot also and making a lot of very hard compromises for American interests. And it feels like we are doing a lot of painful stuff to ourselves on behalf of the United States, and depending on the political party and president of the United States, we can either receive recognition for our support of the United States or turn into a rug to be stepped on.
I don't necessarily fully agree with that. I don't
I know
feel
it's
a
bad
lot of
to
what Israel does is beyond on behalf of the United States. That's not, I don't believe that's true. Some
I
No,
of
do.
it
that's the
does
thing.
reflect and help us, obviously. When Israel takes out terrorists, obviously it helps out everybody, not just Israel. It helps out even Arab countries. It helps out everybody when Israel is handling these terrorists. But most of it is to protect Israel. It does
No,
not
of
have.
course.
It
But
is
think
not.
about.
It's not
I
to.
know. But
It's
think
not
about it like
related
this.
to the United States
Yeah,
that
but think
way.
about it like this. Israel has usually been very successful when going on the offensive. We have been until October 7th mostly on a defensive posture because it was also politically easier for the United States to operate politically in the Middle East while we
Uh,
were
I think
unit.
that's one of the biggest problems, and me and you have spoke about that a million times. The biggest problem that I felt why didn't I'm just not I'm not happy with BB whatsoever. I feel if there was a better person, I would have said let Israel would be better selecting somebody else. But the problem is that like me and Sage have gone back and forth a million times discussing this, and we both agree that
Who knows? Maybe
there
I
is
should.
nobody there. There is no Israel has a leadership problem.
You
And
know what?
BB is really the best of what Israel has right
He's
now,
the
and that's
best. Let me
why
put
he's
it this way:
there.
BB is the best of the worst because everybody here sucks.
um,
You know what? You know the saying, if you want to do something right, do it yourself? Well,
well,
I
either
the
know.
problem is that
either
you
you are
have what
welcome to
you
come
have.
over or
He
else.
said a lot of
Yeah.
things. I know one of my subscribers on S. His name is David. I know he's listening, and like yeah, tells me a lot of things, but I don't really get into. Like I said, I don't live in Israel, and I'm nobody to hate Jews. I just listen very carefully and give open opinions. I just think, I'm being honest with this. You guys can share your opinion separately. I think the best thing that the Israeli politicians should work on is how they interpret things. Like if people give a better interpretation, then this anti-Semitic stuff it would cut down. Unless sometimes social media doesn't publish it. Okay, if social media doesn't publish it, that's where the content creators come in, post something suitable to what the politicians have said.
Holly, for this to happen, first of all, the Israeli politicians need to get their heads out of their asses.
Oh, sorry, I had
We talk about this so much, we because I always love to learn about Israeli politics because it was one
Essentially,
thing. I tell you, when I was a kid, I really didn't fully understand Israeli politics. It's hard being in America. It was really almost like a foreign subject unless you you have to really speak to Israelis to fully understand
well, these years one in front of me who
the
were all
subjects, the weird things that you see in America going on in Israel, and you really have to just ask a lot of questions and talk to Israelis. Otherwise, it's really hard to understand
you
not being
remember
there.
when I blown your mind?
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that. Well,
I remember back in
tell them how. Hold on,
2024.
hold on, hold on. Sage, explain to Holly how you blew my mind.
Okay,
I couldn't believe I
Essentially,
didn't know this. To be honest with you, I was surprised I didn't know this, and if I would have dug into it a little bit better, I probably would have found out myself. But explain it.
essentially explained how the parliamentary system is in Israel actually works. That essentially here in Israel, when people are voting, they're voting for a party, but or rather for how many seats a party in Israel can hold. But it's the discretion of the leader of each party how to fill the seats each party receives in the Knesset. So if a Knesset member wishes to engage, if he's engaging in politics in a way that his party leadership is not approving of, he can be removed.
Well, and the thing is, a lot of people don't understand is like you don't like in Israel you don't vote for the person, you vote for the party, and then the party determines who the prime minister is going to be. That's why I found that crazy.
Most of the time, if not all of the time, the prime minister is uh, is also the leader of the party, like the chairman of the party. Like I know, for
Right.
instance, that Trump might be the leading. I know he's the leader, but he's not. actively managing the GOP, right? Is not its is not the chief leader of the whole GOP. It's the
Well,
president.
no, they have like a board. So the
Exactly.
GOP, like people run the GOP, but the president is
Well,
really still the president of the. He's
so
like the
here in
head of
Israel,
the part
Bibi
of his
is
party
both
still.
the prime minister of Israel, the leader of the coalition in the Knesset, and the chairman and the leader of the Likud party.
See, that's similar to. It's kind of similar but different to American parties because like technically the leader of the party is still the president of the United States.
I
So,
honestly
well, when
think like
Biden was president, Biden was the leader of the Democrat Party at the time. He didn't run the party. They have people that run the party, but like the party goes by what the leader is doing and the policies that he's putting forth. They down the line support that on both sides. That's kind of how our system works in Israel. That I think there were so many things that we had some really great discussions about
Yeah. The
Israeli
thing is,
politics. Also, we talked about like the Israeli form of government. We discuss it a lot because I know where a lot of the problem points in Israel are, and me and him have discussed that a lot.
we can
And
do that in
and
round
and
two.
and it's a long discussion, but I mean we had some
yeah,
really good discussions about
I
what
think I
can
will need
Israel do to
something
fix
stronger
it.
than I think I will
We
need
can,
something stronger than this in order to explain it.
no,
Yeah,
we
we'll
can
do it
do.
at night, and I'll have some nice beer, and we can really loosen up
No,
and have some great
we'll
conversation
do a
about it.
round two on the discussion about the politics because the thing is, I feel Israel's reputation could be saved so much better if the politicians just do a better interpretation of what they're talking about. And
Again,
then,
you are what again? I will explain. Every issue you are bringing up right now is rooted in the fact that our politicians are completely inept in anything to do with outside of Israel thinking. Here in Israel, we are calling it hasbara, which essentially is like advocacy, doing advocacy for Israel. What I am doing right now can be considered advocacy for Israel, as well as what you and XR are doing could be considered advocacy for
you're
Israel.
showing
But
your
the thing
nation in a
is,
better format.
it's not a government. It's not an Israeli policy. Not is Israel is not backing the 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 pro-Israel advocates online, like how Qatar, Turkey, Iran, China are funding the pro-Palestinian agitators both online and in the streets of the West. So again, before you once again say that our politicians should do this or that
No,
better,
I think
you
like
are repeating
sometimes.
what essentially is being discussed here
Oh,
since
you
the
didn't let
beginning
me
of the war.
finish. You just cut
Sorry,
me. You didn't let
sorry.
me finish. You get so
Go
aggressive.
ahead,
It's
go
a
ahead.
very sensitive spot.
No, no, I'm just saying, look, in order to win like social media statements, sometimes you just gotta like, for example, I showed you a video and on your side that video is blocked, right? Due to some statements, that is fine. But other countries can publish it. So for example, if I show you a documentary and you're a content creator, you can interpret to what your like leaders have said, and that's gonna help look your country even better because there's so many people out there giving misinterpretation. And then when you talk to somebody from Israel, like how you're explaining to me in a better format, like, hey, what do you agree with, what you disagree with what they said, that helps outsiders understand.
You need to remember also there is a still somewhat active censorship in Israel.
Sage, let me join into the conversation a little bit. But what's interesting is like if you talk to any of the communication people in Israel, they will say that Israel has not done a very good job historically with communication to the public in general. I honestly did it like it used to be like I think an overlooked thing that long ago Israel with Israel's communication and outreach and stuff like that related to public communications was not very good. It still is not very good. And
I'm
I,
sorry.
I think I think that if if Israel has started to make a change in that, and I noticed that after October 7th, they felt
Not much. There
well,
was
hold
a
on.
change,
There was
and
some
then
large changes made after October 7th. And if you follow, like for instance, my favorite place to go for updated IDF information is the IDF Telegram. The IDF Telegram is almost like real-time updates from the IDF and what they're releasing information to the public. It's very, very good. I've been following it since before October 7th. Their Telegram used to be terrible. I didn't even subscribe to it. And today it's like real time updates to let everybody know what is actually happening and what the IDF is working on.
XR. First
Yeah.
of all, I didn't hear anything of what you said. The first half that contradicts what I said.
No, I wasn't contradicting you.
I know. Secondly, I think you would agree with me. It would have been better if the Israel, if the state of Israel would have taken charge of doing the public perception of Israel instead of the IDF. You,
There should be a more centralized communication office within
correct.
Israel,
There
right? I
was
mean, that's why I
one.
think the biggest the lacking thing is a centralized communication where not just the IDF or not just the Israeli like State Department would be releasing, information here and there, but really a focused way of communicating with the world and opening up more channels of communication and also supporting people advocates uh, like Holly and things that we were talking about with people who advocate for Israel and give more support for those people abroad. And I think that doing stuff like that would change the game, but I don't see that. I haven't seen any great change like that happening.
Well, yeah, it's just like I was telling
And
Sage.
it goes back to Israeli politics being so defunct. Right now, you should
That's
know that
true.
right now in Israel we have two ministries that you would probably, after you hear their names, you'll probably think somebody is insane. We have the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Jewish Traditions.
What's the difference between the two?
Exactly, exactly. This is exactly the point. We have the
Well, it's
Ministry.
like here. It's like that's no different than here. Do you know how
I'm
many
sitting between
redundant
two Jews. One
offices
from
they
America,
have in
one
the
from
federal
Yeah,
Israel.
government?
exactly, exactly.
We
Oh, by
have
the
the
way,
most amount. I mean, literally, when President Trump came in, he shut down a ridiculous amount of offices because we had a ridiculous amount of redundancies all over the place for the same damn things. We even had titles that overlapped each other, so they had multiple people with the same title doing the same job of one person could do. I
by
mean,
the way,
it's
we also
bad.
have,
We had the same
the
thing here.
ministry. By the way, we also have the Ministry of the Treasury and the Ministry of Economy.
Sage, like, I'm asking you
Well,
right now, like, Sage, this is just my perspective. Like, when I first, okay, what the social media says and what the content creator have said. Now, when I come for myself, I see the culture, and then I see you educating me what greater Israel, what it is versus local Israel. This is the stuff that needs to be published, and this is the stuff
And
that
it
people
will
don't
never
talk.
be and it will never be published while we're trying to trudge through the avalanche of anti-Israel propaganda pushed by people with much more deeper pockets than even Israel can muster. We
But
you
I
want to
think
hear
we
you want to hear
can
something
do it
funny?
better. Sure.
Listen to this. I was watching a movie last night, and it was not an anti-Israel or anti-American movie, but they had this crazy puppet regime in the movie, and they said that the United States controlled the United Nations, and it made me laugh so hard
Oh
that
my.
it made me laugh so hard because I honestly feel that there are stupid people that actually believe that. Like there is nothing farther from the truth about the matter of fact, people hate the United Nations so bad they want to get rid of it.
Well,
And we
good luck.
fund and
Go ahead and do that. By the way,
we're funding the garbage that's coming out. Like the
by
UN
the way,
has done such a
let's
poor job
let's
and we
show
keep
our
funding it.
audience. By the way, let's just say to show tell our audience who really controls the United Nations. Spoiler alert, it's China. I don't
China,
know.
Russia, Iran has amazing. They keep getting on these committees. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
Didn't they
the
just? What
Committee
was the
for
recent
Women's
committee?
Rights, for example.
Yeah.
Like
How
managing
does
committee.
how does Iran support women's rights anywhere?
Well, I guess when you are executing
How to
women,
take away women's rights? Maybe
yeah.
they
By
were
the way,
a poster child to take away women's
I
rights.
guess that forcing a woman to wear a hijab, and if she's not, you rape and murder her, is a form of right.
Dumb stuff. The
Yeah,
dumbest of dumbest
there
you're
was
gonna
there was
find.
some recent thing that Iran just joined some recent committee. I got to look that up to see what it was. There was something
Honestly,
recent that was crazy that I saw.
I'm just gonna put it this way, Sage. Like, look, what social media says, if you and like Hackstar do like these mini topics with me, I think people will have like a better understanding what Israel is, because what is being presented, people are getting having the wrong idea. You educated me, right? You educated me about the culture. You educated me about like how the people are really. I was scared when I first came here. Like, you don't need to be scared. They're not that mean. I was scared as a newcomer, and you told me don't need to be that scared. They're not that mean. And then you also educated me about the culture and the people, and you told me what not to talk to and what's okay to talk to. This is the thing that people need to understand. What you're telling me, you're giving a better reputation of your country, like what it's supposed to be and what the media is showing it like, including our own. But yeah,
You mean a presentation, not
yes,
reputation. But
yes,
Well, I guess that it's easier to experience Israel than to explain it. I suspect, as you both have experienced Israel, I suspect you have better understanding of stuff like how it is here. I guess Hexar had a bit more experience than you because you also were in your tour. By the way, for the record, I saw you on TV.
me, huh?
Yeah, you
you
were
were
on.
on TV.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was on TV when her delegation was in Israel. Of course,
Thanks to
unfortunately, at a
Sasha.
certain point,
Yeah, thank you, Sasha.
the logo of
Once again.
the logo, one of the logos of some of the channels was specifically on Holly's face because she was the shortest.
He, but that all goes thanks to Sasha. He's the one who invited me to the party. It was a very interesting party.
How about and what you said was very true. You really don't like all my life I wanted to go visit Israel and it never happened and there wasn't really as big when I was a kid during my teenage years. They don't have the organizations that are there today for going to Israel. They make it very easy today for Jews to go to Israel. But back then it never happened for me. And I was at one point in my life where I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to go myself. That's the or otherwise I'll never go. And it's right. You will never fully understand things and really see what things are like unless you go for yourself. And Holly, with that, why don't you have people ask questions? I think that would be really nice to
This
to
is
see with
probably going
all
to
of
be
us
the
here.
conclusion for the next episode. So, like, does anybody else have questions? There's the people
Yeah,
from YouTube and
let's
X all right here.
try answering some more questions before we conclude. By the way, while people are writing their questions, there is no better Israeli experience than having a French breakfast and having a French cafe next to a hummus place, and which is also next to a sushi place.
Well, if you look at your background, I would say you're in New York with
Uh,
that.
I, well, I'm you. Unlike the two of you, unlike you, I don't want people to see my room.
Oh yeah, no, I understand that.
I don't think
Um,
we have.
but
I
but you
Hamster
know
has.
what's funny? The funny thing you explained is it's very similar to like New York. If you go to New York, you can almost a lot of our cities that you can get cultural food from any culture. Even here where I'm at. You
Yeah,
can
but we don't need to import the people of the culture in order to have the damn the
we don't
cultural food.
import them.
No, it's
They
what the
want to come
Europeans said. The European attitude was if they want a shawarma, they have to import the guy making the shawarma and his children and his wife and his cousin and his parents and their friends' cousins and their cousins' friends and cousins
Yeah,
and
but isn't that what happens in Israel?
No, it's what happened.
Yeah, it is. You have important. It's the same thing. Oh, let's make it Leah. So you brought your cousin and then your
Wait,
cousin
wait,
from
that
all the
is
different parts of
different.
the
Wait,
world.
that is
And
different.
yeah,
Do
no,
not
no,
compare.
no, no, no. It's
Wait,
not different.
don't compare the Aliyah to the inflood of illegal
Okay,
migration
a
that
Oh
happened.
question.
no, I'm not comparing that.
No question. Let's see
Come
who
on,
asks the
people,
question.
ask questions. Come on, we are on fire. Not literally, not yet. Just give it a couple of days before rockets start
People are
flying.
laughing at our podcast. Two Jews and a Muslim talking in between.
Yeah, well, hopefully the only fire is in Iran
Yeah,
on the Ayatollahs.
at the Ayatollah's ass specifically. Please, we need to be specific. We need his ass on fire. Even more after he's having an
No, I think we
explosion.
don't even need on fire. Just no existence left. That's like the nuclear facilities that were there. Nothing left. That's all that's needed.
Hmm.
Okay, Double Raman, do you have like a question? I know your episode is coming because Iran is about to be targeted maybe sometime next week. So episode about you is going to start next week. Anything related to Iran? Do you have any questions for them? I just know based on the title today that the world is so terrified, thinking that the Greater Israel's coming is going to be the end of the globe, and like looking at their holy books.
We are
I just
definitely don't want this kind of
Propaganda.
Islamic Brotherhood style of Greater Israel. Don't believe don't believe the Muslim Brotherhood or
No, I
Qatar
just think that the
or
people can
Tucker
do like
Carlson.
a better presentation
They're the
and
same
presenting
bullshit.
what they're talking about. And that's what I called you up for. That's what I called you up for. Like, do you want to tell us what the world's saying and what does it actually mean? Because I think a lot of the people don't really know what it means. They just don't.
Oh, yeah.
They don't know what it means. If they did, they wouldn't
Because people
ask this
don't know us.
question.
People are, right now are so overly emotional about stuff they don't know. They know only the Palestinians, but they don't even bother to know the Israelis. Because they want to role play as the good Samaritans that they never would have been had they lived in the time where they wanted to be the good Samaritans. They think that if they existed during the time of the American slave trade, they would have freed the slaves and were part of the railroad. They wouldn't have been. They would have been the rich assholes they are still today. They wouldn't have freed the slaves, and they would definitely will not hide the Jews from the Nazis, except for the people who actually risked their lives to do so, including some Muslims who also did that.
I think not a lot of the people even know about the Samaritans. It's like Shayna said. One thing I heard, stuff hits me in the hammer in the head. She's like, not a lot of the people talk about Jew history correctly. I'm like, why do you say that? Because a lot of the stuff is missing from social platform. There you go. You brought up the Samaritans, and she's the only one who brought that up. Who were the Samaritans? And out of all the people, you only brought up the Samaritans. That who was the Samaritans in the ancient times? A lot of people don't
Well,
know.
the thing to understand too is if you go to any Holocaust Memorial Center, they all have a dedication to them. They're all there. And I can tell you, if anyone could go to the Holocaust Memorial Center, go to the one in Washington D.C. There's nothing like it in the world. Even better than Yad Vashem in Israel. You should see the Holocaust Memorial in Washington D.C. It
And,
is
and
like nothing I've ever seen in my entire life.
until the leftists will burn it to the ground.
No, they won't.
You want to bet money on that they won't try?
Yeah, it's protected pretty well. That won't happen.
So,
Then wait until
James,
Democrats will try to
we'll
make
save an
their
episode 2 next time. I'm telling you about right now, Iran's about to get attacked, and I guarantee Hexar is going to have all the political information what America's about to do.
and
And what
probably
he
popcorn
always has.
probably. He will probably eating popcorn when stuff will start. If they
Oh
start.
yeah, we will have a flood of everybody coming alive on my Discord as it was during all of October 7th, after October 7th, as well as when the
12,
attack
8,
the attack by Iran and all that. Yeah, it will. I'm sure we will come alive again,
Yes.
and
People are watching
everybody
that.
will be
People
glued
want
to
to
the
know that stuff.
TV.
We
And
have an episode related to Iran, what
All
America's
right,
going to
but
do
I
and not going
before
to
we
do.
finish, I want to ask the two of you a question.
Sure.
okay,
Do you believe that the talks in Geneva will could lead to an agreement, or an attack will eventually happen?
I'll let Haxar go first, and I'll think about it based on what he
uh,
says.
this is an easy answer. I don't feel that Iran cross cross off the crossing of red lines that have been given to them. They never have. I don't think they ever will. They've already been told so many times that they say that they're not interested in nuclear weapons, but yet they do everything to create a nuclear weapon at the same time. There's no enrichment that goes anywhere near the level of enrichment that they're doing for peaceful nuclear energy. The only reason why you do that is for a nuclear weapon. And they will never stop enriching their own uranium to produce nuclear bombs. That's their goal. They'll never give it up, and they won't give up those ballistic missiles. Um, so the answer is no. Really, to be honest with you, this whole time has been a waste of time. But it always is important to take diplomacy first and not just go run around attacking without trying to peacefully do it. That's the intelligent way to do it. So that's really my answer is that no, I don't think it'll be successful at all. I feel it is basically buying us time to get all of our forces in order, which we're pretty much almost there already, and it's just inevitable. I would be shocked if it was any different. I would be. Then again, I was shocked when all the hostages were released. I never thought that was going to happen either. I didn't think that was possible, and President Trump pulled out a miracle there, but I don't think he's going to be able to change the mind of crazy people in Iran, and I don't think that he can be successful. Just like I don't think he can change Putin's mind either. He's been trying to change Putin's mind for way too long. The problem there is there's not much we can do about that. I mean, other than letting them fight for forever. I mean, what else can we do? There, more sanctions and stuff like that. But I mean, ultimately, uh, Putin's going to do what he wants to do. And there's not much we can do about that. But when it comes to Iran, there are things we can do about it. And I'm glad that we have a strong president that's willing to say, listen, we're not going to let one country, leaders, dominate the Middle East and hold everybody hostage and having us sitting there having to worry about defending everybody, including our own soldiers there. So that's my answer on that.
Well,
Me, I don't know. I just know that if America attacks, like, we are gonna have some unusual up and down retaliation. I don't know where it's headed to. I don't have the answer to that and how the deals are gonna work with all the neighbors who are gonna be busted just as much as Israel. I don't know, but like, yeah, there's gonna be some new episodes, and Mike's gonna have it all. Like, Axar's gonna have it all. He knows it, and then yeah, we can review it. Hexter, you're so practical about sources. Like some of the stuff when I even ask you, like, is there an accurate source? That's not an accurate source. I just
Well,
read
I
that.
that's because most of the sources are not accurate. You have to do work to find real accurate information, and it's not like especially X, which is the most polluted feeds of them all about news. Most of it is almost all of it is not accurate, and you to really find like I don't trust anything that comes off of X. You really have to do the hard work to figure out what's real and what's not when it comes to news from any source. But yeah, like I said to Sage, when you hear the never-ending roar of jets going over above, please alert all of us and let us know that it's begun. It'll probably be your usual time at 3 in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning there, and
oh,
It's a convenient time for us here. It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock range. Let us know when you hear that and when you're unfortunately. The good thing is you're in a. I think out of all of Israel, you're in a safer location, and I kind of worry less about you than for instance, my where my relatives are, or anybody in Tel Aviv, for instance. Tel Aviv seems to be the favorite target of the Ayatollahs. But
Yeah, they claimed that we had a star destroyer, an Imperial Star Destroyer from Star Wars, hidden in underground Soroka hospital, and also that every residential building had an F-35 inside. Last time I checked, I don't think I found where my F-35 is. I
hold
need
on,
to.
you know what they got confused with? They got confused with Lebanon, where Hezbollah was putting rockets in people's homes, like big, huge, massive ones. They
Wow.
and they gutted out the houses and they put these rockets in the homes on the in southern Lebanon by the border. You remember that, where they we saw all those photos of them put like the garages with the big rockets in them. That's what that reminds me of.
Well, I'm gonna get ready to close this. I just know we have a lot to talk about next week. Axar, you're gonna have all the reports in the world when America attacks Iran, and probably a lot of updates. And yeah, the only thing we're gonna be concerned about is what hopefully it doesn't. My prayers, Iran does not retaliate to Israel, but according to reports, it is going to. So we're gonna have much to review next week, and I think we'll do a round two about this once we have enough stuff. Right now, we're only on base one, and we're monitoring everything. And you know it, we're all monitoring from our windows what's meant to happen. And is there
Uh,
any more questions before I exit? Let's see. But yeah,
As usual,
everybody.
here all my screens will be completely filled with live feeds, like before.
Oh yes, more to come. Somebody will free Iran. Free Iran. Episode of
Absolutely.
Iran coming
Yes,
next.
absolutely. Let's hope that
Hashtag free Iran.
amen to that.
I mean, next week, big updates for Iran, and all three of us are going to be talking about it again. Um, Hackstar from America, Sage from Israel, keeping up with the Israeli news, and yeah, me here with a whole bunch of resources and verifying stuff, and then we will come together and review stuff together. And next episode is fully going to be about Iran, so keep a lookout on your windows. What reports come next because everybody's monitoring it. And I say this again before I close my stream. Sage, I think it's really important, and I think you did a terrific job how to present Israel what it's supposed to be. If people understand in your format about the culture, what what to follow, what not to follow, I think they're going to understand your country better. It's just what social media is putting out, and then what content creators put out. What how are you really sharing about the country for people to have a better understanding about the country, what it is, like the bright side, the culture, and things like that. You're not going to explain it really, really good and let the newcomers know that, hey, don't worry about those people. They're not telling the truth. Then the newcomer's not going to learn anything. That's how
Hmm.
I see it. All right, well, thanks for coming. And Hector, you were a crash. You're going to crash again next week once we do something for Iran. So, yeah, I think it's good now that people know that Greater Israel is no threat. It's a myth because it costs us money and it's nowhere close
It's
to
not
what
realistic. We emphasize that it's not realistic. It's not even a question of cost. It's so unrealistic. Let me put it this way. Uh, the United States uh, taking control on both Ice, Iceland or Greenland. Which one is the bigger one?
I
Greenland.
don't think it
It's
really
Greenland,
matters.
not
But yeah.
Iceland.
Yeah, the United States taking control of both Greenland and uh, and Canada is far more possible than the idea of Greater Israel, to the extent of what you showed me.
Well, I don't see the Canadian thing ever being possible, so I don't agree with you on that one.
Well, that's exactly my point.
It has no chance of ever happening, but
Thank you for emphasizing my point. Thank you.
It was a funny thought while President Trump brought it up, but that will not
That's a
happen. We
myth.
have we do
Again,
have
you're
we do have a chance of getting Greenland, but I don't know if that is only President Trump would know how possible that was.
well. It would definitely be funny for NATO to ask the United States for money and weapons and equipment and soldiers to fight against the United States.
Who?
NATO.
Oh, well, of course.
We'll discuss that
We're
another
the
day.
biggest supplier of that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I think we are overstaying our welcome.
Yeah, today was a good show, y'all, and we had like 35 viewers today. It was a good show, and until next week when we have update of Iran, we're gonna have these political debates again. What can we expect? And of course, what can we not expect? And there's only one person who always debates us very accurately and says it to our faces. That's Aksar.
I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you, Muna.
No
Thank
problem.
you for having us. Also, I'm here.
No problem. Till next time, guys. See y'all, and feel free to subscribe. And if anybody who wants to join these guys is a community, especially Hackstar, I share your YouTube link all the time. Feel free
You mean
to join him
Discord?
in his
Yeah.
Discord community. Feel free to join him, and I'll publish it over here too. Anybody who's really into like political debates, political chapters, then the community that they should be joining is your community. Anything related to politics and basic facts, then that would be your community, and you will get very, very accurate information. And I will post that here. Give me a second. For newer members who want to have a decent conversations, I think this is their place to go. Let me post it in the chat.
Feel free to follow and share this. Please share this to everyone. Your friends, family, relatives, neighbors, your
It's
dog,
important to know.
if
Yes,
your
it's
pets,
important
if you
to
have
know.
any. It includes both animals and people. Feel free to share.
Yes, feel free to share because it's important. What versus what social media represents, or a content creator not giving the accurate information what the country is about. It's important to have a decent discussion by the people who really do understand the culture and ask them questions. Once they can answer the questions, that means you got the right person. Like here. So see y'all till next time. Stay tuned next week. Next week we'll have update of Iran. Much more to come by next week.
Hopefully.
Take care. Let me
Bye
close the
bye.
show.
Bye bye.
Bye. End the broadcast.